Good evening. It is I, Roncar, and it is my pleasure to be with you again in this evening. Well, the year has really started, and it is just moving forward, slowly starting it out because it is the winter time. And in the winter time, it is a time of rest, a time for the earth to regather itself, and for you also, since it is cold and not as warm as you would wish. You perhaps like to stay indoors, perhaps enjoy the warmth of your homes and move forward in your life, not to, um, I will say, move forward slowly. Accomplish what you need to accomplish in every day, but also give yourself the time and space to do it. I am somewhat on I'm on a thought. I am on a thought that it is important for you to take this time out for yourself. And you might consider some introspection should it become available to you. All it takes is time. And to think about how you react and how you feel and what makes you happy and what do you feel sad about. Get to know yourself a little better. Think of ways in which you can pause your reactions, that you can start different ways of thinking. As you know yourself more, you know your habitual thoughts. You know the ones that sometimes make you sad. And you also know the things that make you happy. It is important to know all these things about yourself because you can use them to create a better life. And while now in the dark days of winter, you may not be doing too much, as you come on in the future to another month or possibly 2 months, when the light becomes longer again and you see the first signs of spring, then you know you will be ready to start moving forward in your life, in your careers, and in achieving those things that you want to manifest in your life. And so just remember this during this winter time. It's fine to take the time to relax, but be introspective. Think about yourself. Think about what makes you happy and what you can do for yourself to make your life better and better. And if you wish, I may start this, not just an evening like this with a thought like this. I will try to give you some instructions on how to make your life more what you want it to be. So now it is time for you to ask questions of me. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask?
Hello. Can
Good.
you hear me? Okay, I had a question, kind of what you were talking about. I was going to say, why do we experience things on Earth that we don't remember when we get to spirit? Like, you can't, can you possibly remember everything that happened in your life? I mean, even when we're here, we don't remember everything that happened.
Yes, well, your memory is much enhanced when you get to spirit. You not only remember what has happened in this lifetime and everything that has happened, you get to see the results of your thoughts and you get to see the results of your actions. And this is how you determine what kind of a life you will be coming into next time. You will use this knowledge that will come to you. Yes, you actually remember everything that happened to you. Of course, you let go of much of it because it doesn't have to stay with you.
Right.
You save the highlights as if it were that
Uh-huh.
I made this decision and I took this action and it had this result. And I did not like the result, or I did like the result. And if I did like the results, how come in this other time I took actions and I didn't get those results? Why did that happen? You begin to understand all these things about yourself and how you created the life that you did. You see images and pictures, remembrances of your life.
Oh.
And
So when you said one time, I know somebody asked you something about, and you remembered a life and you answered the question, and then they added something to it, and you said, "Oh, well, I don't remember about that." So
was it
are we
about my
choosing
life or
then to
something I had
not
said?
remember some things?
Was it about my life or,
Yes, yes, one of your lives.
well, you move things to the back where they are not very important.
Oh, okay.
You, for, it is as if you forget about them.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
that's what I was thinking.
I
But if you really want to remember them, you can. Is that what you're saying?
yes,
Okay.
that is what I'm
Okay.
saying.
All right.
And perhaps the question was not a useful question in the sense
Yes,
there was nothing to be learned from it.
I gathered by the way you said it that you didn't learn anything from it, so you didn't bother with it. You know. Oh, and the other reason I asked the question too was one time somebody asked something of Ronald Reagan, but it was when he had Alzheimer's on Earth, and he says, "Well, I don't know. I don't remember that because I don't remember that because he had Alzheimer's." So I I mean, it's
Your
he had
question, I think,
Alzheimer's, but he spirit really didn't know what was going on then. Yeah, I mean, physically, I know he didn't know what was going on, but would his spirit, know what's going on, even though he had Alzheimer's?
that is an interesting question. I have not considered that question. So give me just a moment to consider it.
Okay.
Your question truly is for those who are in nursing homes and those who are suffering from Alzheimer's, is their spirit fully aware while they are not
Uh-huh.
of all what is happening and the ramifications of it? So just hold on one moment. Yes, their spirit is aware of what is happening, but it is not as if it is useful information, um, because what is happening around the person is mostly affecting the body. Their mind is not functioning properly. So, spirit can be aware of these things, of what is happening, but there is not truly, because the mind is not functioning properly, although the spirit is aware, there is nothing for the spirit to absorb, so to speak, or to learn from the experience.
Uh-huh.
They are observing a helplessness.
Ah, okay.
Even when it is similar with babies, the baby in its first manifestation from the womb is almost totally devoid of perceptions. It can experience hunger, it can experience cold or excess heat, discomfort to the body, but it cannot see, it cannot perceive colors and faces. Its sight is limited to within a few inches of the child, of the infant. So vision is much curtailed. The infant can hear quite well, but every sound is meaningless and it comes through only as a comfortable sound or a sound the baby does not like or does not wish to experience. In other words, gives it discomfort. So this is similar to those in extreme old age affected with Alzheimer's or those affected with Alzheimer's. Although they can see and perceive, the mind does not process what they are seeing. Sometimes they can understand, yes, because that area may be working within their brain, but it depends upon the Alzheimer's patient or person that we are talking about. Each one might have differing abilities to perceive and understand what is happening around them. They can understand, if they are not too advanced, they can understand the speech and what their caregivers would expect of them or desire of them, such as helping them to get dressed, to raise your arms, to put your head through the hole, whatever what other instruction is necessary to help the person get dressed, to stand up, perhaps, to sit down, or help. Maybe they need help for those things, but it depends upon the individual person and the level of the destruction and the inability to think and act. So, spirit does not pay too much attention. I will speak of your guides along that line, that they have essentially left, unless there is obvious need for help or some way in which they can do something. But for the most part, spirit doesn't interact either with infants or with advanced Alzheimer's patients.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yes, after all, your spirit, you are a spirit.
Yeah.
And you happen to be in a physical body.
Yeah.
But part of your spirit is always with spirit. So that when you are speaking of spirit, are you speaking about your soul, your life force?
The particular person, the spirit that's in the particular person. That's what I was thinking.
Yes, well, the spirit that is in the particular person is in the patient waiting mode. Let us put it that way. They have no choice. There is not much they can do. The body may be physically well enough to sustain itself, but the brain is not functioning properly.
Okay. Awesome.
Are there any other questions?
Well, I guess everybody's still thinking a question, so I'm still here.
Okay. Do you have another question?
Yeah, I do. Um,
Good.
I was wondering, how can we get a handle on our automatic reactions to stimuli so that we are always in control? Because it seems like, the automatic reaction is a out of control thing.
Yes. You speak of like reacting with anger.
uh, Reacting with anything like immediately, like it's as if you have no choice and you just do it, and then it's like, and maybe that's not what you really want to do when if you had a chance to think about it.
Yes, well,
And anger is one of them.
yes, that is a reaction that many people get. Reactions to surprise, reactions to situations that are funny and may cause you to laugh. You may not care that you will find it funny and cause you to laugh.
True.
If you are laughing what you later consider as inappropriately because you were laughing at something that hurt someone else in some way, then
Hmm.
yes, it's a bit embarrassing, but you can always stop your laughter and say, I'm sorry. And are you okay? Or can I help you? Or offer some form of assistance to the person.
Hmm.
Um, and, but you are really talking about, I think, um, reacting with
Negativity.
yes, negativity, nasty words, or anger,
Hmm.
saying things that you wouldn't have said normally if you were not surprised with the situation.
Yeah.
And well, there are many ways that you can help yourself. And one of the ways, which is customarily given, is to try to count to three or four or five before you respond to someone. It doesn't matter what it is. They have said something to you, they did something, they asked you for something. Simply pause a moment and give yourself a little mental count of 1, 2, 3, which gives you a chance to get control of your reaction. That is a technique which is frequently given by therapists. Try to count to 3 or perhaps 5. It depends upon whether you are counting 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
And that often causes enough for you to halt the immediate reaction to a situation and give you the opportunity to make a thoughtful reaction to this situation. You understand?
Yes, I know in certain situations, I don't even know if I would have thought to count, or I don't know. It was, well, like when I was a kid. I mean, if somebody clobbered me, I clobbered them right back. No thinking. There was no thinking. You just smack them back. And
Yes.
I remember one time regretting that because they hit me accidentally. So that wasn't good. And
Yes, they hit you
therefore,
again.
yeah. Well, they didn't hit me again, but they were shocked that I hit them, I guess, because they hit me accidentally. But I think from that experience, I thought, oh, I need to, not do this.
Right.
But then again, I it's still hard when something happens and you don't even think. You don't. How do you click your brain into thinking first to say 1, 2, 3? You
Well,
know.
you make that decision to count to 3, no matter what happens. And You make the decision after you have made the action. Say it again. Next time, I will remember to count to 3, and it will take a little training. The first time you reacted to being hit by another child and you turned around and slugged them, they may have turned around and slugged you back. And now you got a bump, and you gave a slug, and you got a slug back. So now it may be a case of you were smart enough not to hit the person who's a lot bigger than you because you didn't want them to hit you back. And you got in trouble if you hit someone who was a lot smaller than you. And so over time, you learned not to hit people. You do not do that today, do you?
No.
Of course not.
But then again, today it's not in a kid's situation, so there's probably nobody going to come up and clobber me. You know, I mean,
no.
I don't know if I was in a situation where somebody suddenly clobbered me for some reason, then I don't know if I would how I would react now. I mean, if I saw it coming, maybe I would be able to think, for a couple of seconds and say, okay, avoid it, or don't say anything, or stop it, or block it, or whatever. But I don't know if I actually got hit, what I do, because I'd have to have some kind of reaction.
Not necessarily, not in particular. If you were bumped, as you said, you might have clobbered the child in return because they accidentally bumped you, and that was a shock when you both clobbered them. And they didn't mean to hit you or to bump you. And so you reacted, but you learned not to react. You control that reaction most of the time because hitting people is not something you do. Even when you are angry, you no longer hit people. You don't hit your children any longer because some of them are bigger than you.
Well, that's not the reason if they're bigger.
It is not acceptable to go around and hit another adult. And you know that is cautionary. So you have to look at the circumstances in which you are trying to stop a reaction.
Right.
And then apply that I need to pause. I am not allowed to say nasty things back. As soon as someone says something not nice to me, I don't get into a verbal argument because it does not serve me. And when you make those decisions, after you have made the mistake, perhaps, that is fine. You make the decision after you've made the mistake. And the next time, you may not make the mistake. You may not have that reaction because you made that decision. The older you have become, the more in control of your reactions you actually are.
Yeah.
I think you are aware of that. And most of that has come from observing the fact that you didn't like the next outcome to a reaction, that a reaction that wasn't helpful to you allowed you to make that decision mentally that you did not want to do that anymore because it was not good for you.
Yeah. Or it didn't have positive results.
It didn't have positive results because it wasn't good for you.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have learned to avoid most negative reactions. Obviously, you have asked the question, so you feel that you still have some negative reactions.
Yeah, yes, I have a very irritating granddaughter, and it's really hard to not, say something back or do something to turn her off.
Yes, you were talking about now how to handle this granddaughter. How old is she?
4.
Well, you are a lot bigger than her. You
Oh,
have,
yes, I have that advantage, yes.
yes, and you are a lot older. And I do not know why she is annoying, but you just need to be firm with her and continue what you do not have to necessarily have to stop all reactions.
Mm.
If she is annoying you, it is perfectly okay for you to say, stop that. I do not like it. I do not want you to do that. And you will respect me and you will stop.
I have tried that. And she says, "You can't tell me what to do, and I'm going to say it anyway." Hmm.
Well, then you say,
I've
okay,
sent her to her room more than once.
that is fine. Say, yes, all right. Then you can't tell me what to do. The next time you want a cookie or something to eat, I'll remember that you can't tell me what to do.
Uh-huh. There you go. Oh, and the other funny one, well, it sounds funny when she says it, like a real mad face, and she'll say, "I'm telling mommy that you won't do what I tell you to do."
Yes, and I'm sure mommy will support you in that you
Oh,
do not have to do what she tells you to do.
yes, yes. She's been
And
told
that
that.
will eventually get better at it.
Mhm.
Or you can always ask mommy if you are allowed to give her a spanking.
Oh, mommy has no objection to that.
Well, next time she gets fresh with you, just plant your hand on her little behind.
Her mommy's done that too. Stop being fresh, people, she said.
There she goes.
Mhm.
Eventually, that 4-year-old will learn.
I hope so.
Oh, well, you are correct. If she does not learn, then she is likely to be in a hard time of it as she grows older.
Oh, definitely. I've been telling her mom that, and even her teacher says the same thing. She's really not going to get along in life if she doesn't change her attitude. Mhm.
So it lies in punishment, having
Mhm.
bad results for saying things.
Yeah.
And if you have the power to take something away, to stop her, to make her sit in a chair and not move, then that is punishment. That's what happens when you are not polite to people. You get punished.
The flat thing that they push buttons on. I took that away one time because she was playing with it and arguing with me at the same time. So I took it away and put it on the table, and she said, "You can't do that to me. I'm telling daddy on you." Ay, ay, ay.
I'm telling mommy on
And
you.
she stomped in her room and slammed the door.
That is fine.
Uh-huh.
And that is okay. She can stomp into a room and slam the
Yeah.
door, and you can always open the door and say, do not slam your door on me.
Ah, yes. I hadn't thought of that. I just kept the thing in the kitchen where, and she didn't get it till I left. And then she said she did tell daddy when he came home, and daddy says, "Well, what did you do?" And she didn't want to hear that.
You know, but she will eventually learn
Uh-huh.
that kind of behavior has consequences which are not helpful.
Yeah. Not
Sometimes
pretty
makes
fun.
you wonder where a child of that age um,
Yes.
has um, where that is coming from.
That's
And
exactly what I've been wondering. I said it's got to come from another life because I don't see anything happening in her life now that could have caused this reaction. But
you
I,
are correct. It could be from an attitude she had in another lifetime.
uh I
If
hope it
she
wears
did
off
not
quick.
learn this or did learn it, but had a difficult life, maybe perhaps spent the many years in jail or something.
uh Yeah, I don't know. I hope it goes away soon.
Yes, it would be good to know that she has learned a lesson and improved herself.
Yes, I'm hoping. We're working on it.
Good. Are there other questions from you or anyone else?
I have a question.
Yes.
So I was wondering, you know how like we're on a 3D, but we're also on the 5D? You know, like the levels, like we're in a 3D body, but like when we're born with the gifts, we have the 5D abilities for the psychic intuitions and stuff. So I'm calling the 5D and the 3D. How can I know it's like, is there a way to just like be like train your mind to stay in the 5D? Because like on the 3D, you're here like there's an element and your mind's going, fight for flight. And then it's like, but on the 5D, like you're a healer. So why are you worried about illness? Why are you worried about doctors? So is there a way to keep the mind on the 5D instead of going back and forth? Like I'm a healer, I don't have to see a doctor or I don't have to go for blood tests because I'm a healer and I'm healthy. And then you have the 3D, should I go for a blood test? But if you're born a healer, then why would you have to even consider going for a blood test? So is there a way to keep the mind just on a 5D track?
Well, it takes a little discipline, and you have already mentioned about going back and forth between you are calling it the 5D, but an elevated consciousness is what I would call it, and not buying into the 3D thoughts, which are with you a lot, about worrying about your health, or worrying about your cats, or worrying about your success. And most of the time, it takes training of your mind. And yes, you are still young and you still have to work at it. So you do have to look after yourself when the doctor tells you that it is good for you to take a blood test or this test because you are having symptoms, or and that has nothing to do with your being a healer. But if it is just your worry that you are sick that is making you think you should go for a blood test, then you need to say, I am healthy. You need to say the thoughts that are in your 5D mind, in your elevated consciousness. And it takes practice so that when you have that worrisome thoughts, you have a thought that says, well, maybe I'll never get more work. You are going to cancel that thought and you are going to say, of course I will get more work because I am talented. I have things that people desire. I have talents and abilities that people desire for me to use. And so therefore, I will continue to be employed. I have good health habits. I eat right. I exercise daily. I, of course, have almost no way that I will get sick. I am young. I am healthy. I exercise. I eat right. And so I do not need a blood test. And cancel that worrisome thought that I am sick. You need to practice saying the opposite from what you are worrying about. Do you understand?
Yes, because I notice I go to my pendulum for everything. And when I get the answer, I can't just say, okay, thank you, and walk away. I have to ask it 100 times the same question, and I get the same answer 100 times. But then I start, but what if it's wrong? But what if it's wrong?
Well, yes, your mind has gotten itself into the habit of worrying. And it's hard to break that habit. And it is good that you recognize it, because it is important to know that this is not helpful to you. And you are already recognizing that, are you not?
No, I see it, all right.
Yes. You go to the pendulum, you ask the pendulum too many times, and it gives you always the same answer. And then you start to question the pendulum, and that does not help you feel better. But if you begin to take an action to control that thought, that worrisome thought, you've asked the pendulum once, as you say, you know that you should just put it down and walk away. Well, make yourself do that next time. And although you will be tempted to go back and ask the pendulum again, say to yourself, no, the pendulum gave me my answer. I am fine, or it is good, or whatever your answer is. I do not have to ask it again. I have confidence in my pendulum work. My pendulum is always right. It always gives me the answers. I just need accept it. And you have to argue yourself for these things. Your mind will eventually calm down. It will stop saying, but what if? What if this is bad? What if that is bad? It will eventually, because you will train it to stop worrying by not letting yourself think about these things. It is not easy in the beginning. I know this to be true, but it can be done. For many people have done this. And it just takes being firm with yourself to say, yes, my pendulum is correct. I will not ask it again. And when that worrisome thought starts, that, well, maybe the pendulum's wrong this time, you say, I am not going to think that. My pendulum is always right for me. I am not going to think that. When you have a thought you don't like, I am not going to think that. I am going to think, and then think what makes you happy, or that what you know to be true. Your pendulum is right. You always make good decisions. Even if you sometimes make mistakes, you always make good decisions. And you tell yourself these things, and you will eventually get your mind to the point where it will be calm and in control, and you will be positive, and you will think positive things, and you will be able to accomplish more, do more, and receive more, because you are now thinking more clearly.
I think it has to do with like influencing, like the influences of other people, because like this, like I've been in pain for a couple days now. I've been having like sinus pressure on and off, but then it's been snowing, it's been raining, and I feel now I'm getting a migraine because I know now snow is coming, so I'm already starting to feel it in my head. But my body is really, it's in a lot of pain. Like I have pain in this bone right here. I had sharp pains going up my back, down my legs, sciatica. And I knew it was all muscle related because when I work out, my ribs tend to pop out of place. So usually when I go to a chiropractor, he's like, you have 6 ribs out. You have 1 on your digestive tract, which is why I'm not digesting. 1 is pushing up against my back, which is causing the breast pain because then I go into breast cancer. the one pushing on the lower back is going down the leg, which is causing the numbness and the tingling. So I'm like, okay, so in my mind, it's like, what if there's MS or Lyme disease or a tumor growing on the spine? And then I went and asked the pendulum, I said, is it just muscular? It said, yes. So, okay, put it down. And I knew I was going to a chiropractor today. But then my dad calls and he's like, oh no, you got to go for blood work. Oh no, the pendulum, that's not real. That's fake stuff. That's fantasy world. And I'm just like, no. And then then I start going spiraling out again. And then I went to my chiropractor. Let's get out of here, guys. I went to the chiropractor. He's like, no. He's like, there's nothing wrong with you. He's like, you've got ribs out of place, pushing on the nerve, which is causing the tingling and everything else. He says, don't work out for like 4 days. So I was like, okay.
I was going to tell you, perhaps you need to stop your workouts or choose less strenuous workouts. Do them
I think what happened was I went really, really heavy last week because like I'm having like food allergies, so I was kind of like steering away from I'm trying to my body needs a lot of carbs to maintain my muscle. If I lack the carbs, my muscles get flat and then I look skinny. So, but I'm allergic to the breads. So I'm like, but I need the breads. So I'm trying to just like balance it out, like have maybe, if I'm allergic to wheat, just have maybe one slice of the bread, but don't have anything else with wheat for the rest of the day. And I've been balancing it out like that and having like turmeric tea in between. But there was the 2 days I tried not having the bread, and then I thought I looked a little thin, and then I kind of like went crazy and I had to lift heavier weights. So I think that pulled everything out, but that was like a week ago. But the chiropractor said it could still affect you, and especially since I have a problem with cold weather and snow and rain, he said that's definitely the factor of this whole entire mess.
Yes. It is very simple. Do not work out with heavier weights. They cause you pain and suffering. So it is time to say, no, you can get the same effect by simply doing more reps with the lower weights. And if you are looking too thin and you need to just eat the bread. What is wrong with eating the bread?
Yeah, I've been eating the bread and just having like a turmeric tea in between to like in case there's any inflammation from the allergy. And it's been working pretty good. I'm also saging myself at night saying get allergens get out of my body, toxins get out of my body. And that's been working pretty well. So I've been able to eat the bread. So
do you feel you are allergic to wheat?
Yes, I'm allergic to wheat and corn. But I feel better when I eat the bread. I do like I don't fill up with just like, let's just say like I had a different carb like potato, rice, and beans or whatever, because I'm vegetarian, I don't eat any meat. It does like I get hungry fast because my metabolism is really fast, and also I have anxiety, so it burns it off quickly. So I have to eat like larger amounts, like more substance food.
Yes. Do you eat oatmeal?
Yes. Oatmeal. In the morning, I'll have like eggs, spinach, oatmeal, yogurt with fruits, and I'll have almonds.
Sounds
So,
very good.
yeah. So I like to, but then my
Protein.
lunch, what?
You've got protein and you have the oatmeal. So then you were saying about lunch?
Lunch, then I'll be able to like, since I had like a really like I'll be able to throw in like breads somewhere along the line. So then say like if I want to make like some kind of like tortilla wrap, like black beans with like vegetables and rice. And I'll put them in a wrap, like a whole wheat wrap, even though I'm allergic to it. But at least I'm only eating the wheat once a day, as opposed to if I ate it 3 times a day and then like had pizza after that or something, then I'm sure I would be sick with the allergy. But I'm noticing that my body can handle like a 1 time a day smaller quantities. So I was doing a lot of experimental um to see what works, but because that 1 week I didn't have the wheat, then I looked like I was losing muscle, and then I went into I have to lift heavy weights right now to get it back. And then I think that's when I did all this
Yes, you
damage.
did. Yes, you did.
And I learned the lesson. I learned the lesson. But I think that how do you stop people's words from having you not believe in your own self? Like
Yeah.
by hearing that the spells are not real, the tarots are not real, the pendulum's not real. Like, but I know it is because I'm connected to it and I do it every day for a living. So it's like when you hear it and you want people to believe, like it's like, what do you mean this person don't believe? Like my stuff's always accurate, and it's always accurate. It is 100%. My friend's always calling me and it's 100% accurate. She calls me, thank you so much, thank you so much. It was right on point. But then why don't I believe it for myself? Is it because of others telling me it's fake?
Because you have been brought up to question yourself. You have been told when you were very young that you were wrong, you didn't understand, you didn't do things right, and so you have no confidence in yourself or your abilities or your knowledge because of that constant message that you know nothing, can't do things right. And this is your problem, that you have had that message from a very young age. And as a result, you did not develop any self-confidence in yourself. Your father calling you and telling you that your beliefs are wrong, that the tarot is not correct. It is true of the world that whatever you believe, that is true for you. It may not be true for him, but it is true for you. And so that is, you see, the world is mental. Everybody lives in a different world. They see things differently. And because you were never given any confidence in yourself, you never received words of praise that you were that you did things well. You were always doubting things as even a small child. Before you got to kindergarten, you had no confidence in yourself. In kindergarten, you did not gain confidence in yourself, even though you knew everything that you were required to learn as a kindergartner, that you were a good student, that you were praised in many ways by your teachers to your parents. But your parents did not give you, did not say the right things, did not work with you to give you confidence. And so you doubt yourself. When your father calls you and says, oh, that's not real, it damages one of the few things you believe in, and that you know you can do well in certain areas in your life. And it is always questioned to you by those people, by your father, by your mother. They are not satisfied with the way you behave, the things you do, and you hear this judgment over and over and over again. And so you make those same judgments on yourself. So understand that if you understand that, you can start cultivating more confidence in yourself by refusing to listen to them if they are arguing with you about tarot or something. It is time to hang up the phone and not talk to them. It is time to do the things that you need to do. You have taken many steps to create a unique situation and career for yourself. Many people would not have that ability. Most people would not have that ability. But you have created the person that you are to be different than other people. And you have to look at the fact that you have done this and realize that you are a capable person, that you are a creative person. And what you want to create is a life in which you have confidence in yourself and you continue to be successful. And you have confidence in yourself that it will not matter if you look a little thinner on one particular day, and you cannot correct that in a week. That just using heavier dumbbells or more work, so trying to do more strenuous workouts or spend more time at it will maybe just injure your body and not be good for your body. That you are the determiner of what's good for you, and you need to be clear and have that lesson that you have already learned, that you did not help yourself by your reactions. You're not helping yourself with your reactions. And so my suggestion is always for people who are lacking in confidence, that you say the affirmation, I have confidence in myself and my abilities. And you do that at least 20 times before you go to sleep. And then you can go to sleep after you have said it 20 times. And the next day you must say it 20 times before you go to sleep. And if you think about it or you're worried about being wrong, you say it to yourself, I have confidence in myself and my abilities. And when you say, oh, I'm worried I might have breast cancer, you say, I have confidence in myself and my abilities. I'm in pain. I must need something. No, I have confidence in myself and my abilities. I am healthy in every way. I know that I am capable. I know that I am healthy. I have confidence in myself and my abilities. Let that be your reply to every doubt that you have. I have confidence in myself and my abilities. It will make you stronger. It will make you more capable of resisting the doubts and fears that others have given you all your life. You couldn't get what you needed from your teachers because your parents were undermining that, whether you are aware of it or not. As your father said, oh, you need a blood test. Well, how does he know you need a blood test? And how is a blood test going to help you with pain?
True.
It's not, but not over exercising will help you with pain. And you can always there are anti-inflammatory herbs and medications that you can take to help you get over the pain. And so you can take those and help yourself and say, I have confidence in myself and my abilities. And it will make you stronger, and you will feel better. And you are making progress just by asking me the questions the way you asked those questions today. How do I stop this? Or you are beginning to assert control over your thinking. By asking that question shows your desire. And so I know that you will eventually be totally in control in that 5D, as you have phrased it. On the upper level of your consciousness, you will be calm, cool, collected, happy, because you have taken these steps. And yes, it is not easy. And even after you are mostly well on your way to being in control, you will still have an occasional doubt, an occasional kick, so to speak, to oh no, I am worried, I have a pain, and I think I have breast cancer. When it is, your back is slightly out of alignment because you did not sit properly or sat too long, and you exercised too much or did something, picked up something that was too big for you to handle, and you threw yourself out. Yes, these things will happen, and you may go back to that same old doubt. Oh no. And come down and say, I have confidence in myself and my abilities. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. I am complete in every way. I'm strong. I am capable. Saying those words to yourself will help you eliminate the need to ask your pendulum again and to listen to your mind say, but maybe the pendulum is wrong. Squash that. Do not let your mind think that, even for an instant. No.
That's true, because last week too, I remember, I'm remembering, my car died in my parking lot. It just died. And so I called AAA, and they said they didn't know what was wrong with it. So I was like, okay. So I went to my pendulum. I said, is it the starter? It said no. I said, is it the battery? It said yes. So I said, okay. How much is, for someone to put a battery in there? Like, it's like $200 something. I says, no. I called my manager. I was like, you need to take me to Walmart. I'm getting a $60 battery. I'm going to put YouTube on and put that battery in myself. And I did it. The car's working. So when the pendulum told me it's the battery.
And it was correct. And you figured out, you watched how to do it on YouTube, and you did it yourself. So there you go. You are competent and you are capable. You are strong. You are smart. You are able. And that is what you must say to yourself all the time, instead of, what if the pendulum is wrong? No, I am competent. I am confident in my abilities. I have confidence in myself. I know everything is fine. You just had to figure that out. And that was one example. It was a great example. And so you have already taken a step to prove something to yourself, that you are competent and you are capable, you are smart, and you are able. So if you can remember those words, I have confidence in myself and my abilities. Write them down so you don't forget them, and then use them Say them 20 times at least every day. And whenever you feel any doubts in yourself, cancel that thought by saying, I have confidence in myself and my abilities.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you so much.
And let us know how you're getting along.
I will. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions? Charlotte, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, and I was so impressed by what just went on, and I really want to say that's wonderful that, you know, she did how she handled it. And I keep thinking that I'm too old for those tricks. Like, I feel incompetent when it comes to modern technology. And I think that's what's doing me in these days, is that I can't, I feel inadequate as far as solving problems. I wish
I
I,
understand. I understand. But you are working your computer,
yeah, but I'm not good at it. And I just,
but you manage.
I manage, but I
And
feel,
that is important.
yeah, I
And
wish,
you really do take care of things.
yeah, I wish I had more confidence, because I probably would be able to help myself more and not be so negative and feeling helpless and hopeless,
Well,
because
then
I
you
can't
write
manage the
down,
modern technology.
you write down the same sentence. I have confidence in myself and my abilities. And say that 20 times before you go to sleep. Yes, write it down
Should I
now.
say, I have what? I have
Confidence in myself and my abilities.
You know, here I tell my grandchildren all that I know when I was younger, I used to make things happen. Like whatever I decided I wanted to do, I would be able to do it. And even at work, when there was this problem that seemed insurmountable and that I had to get it done, I was able to just put my mind to it and figure it out and do it. But now I'm just, I don't know what you call it, maybe lazy and not really.
I do not believe you are lazy. But you are older now.
Oh, yeah.
And because you are older, thinking is sometimes a little slower and is not as, it is more difficult for you to puzzle out difficult problems.
I know, and I feel almost, yeah.
It is mostly a natural stage of aging. And give yourself that statement, I have confidence in myself and my abilities. Say it as frequently as you can, and your confidence level may grow, in which case you may find yourself feeling you can do things that you currently feel you cannot do. And just try that for a while. Do not even try tackling some of those things that you have been wanting to do. Just
Yeah.
concentrate on saying, I have confidence in myself and my abilities. I have confidence in myself and my abilities. Make that a mantra. I have confidence in myself and my abilities. Sit down to meditate for 10 minutes and say that sentence for 10 minutes straight and do it once a day or If 10 minutes seems too long, do it for 5 minutes. It does not matter how long you do it. I want you to say as frequently and as much as you can. And you too will find that within a week or two, probably at least 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, you will say, I can handle this thing right now. I can do this one thing that you want to clean up, or you want to throw away stuff, or you want to sort through something. Just choose one little thing, but wait at least 2 weeks before you begin to do that.
Thank you. I feel better. Yeah, because I've been feeling kind of hopeless and helpless and thinking, oh, I'm just too old for this. I'm just going to ride it out and whatever will be, will be.
You can do that if you wish, or you can try to improve.
Because,
And if
yeah,
you
because it
wish
isn't
to
making me
improve-
happy. Yeah.
If you wish to improve, use the I have confidence in myself and my abilities, and you will see improvement. You should contact Danielle, and the two of
Thank
you
you.
should
You
work on
really,
it together.
yeah, you've inspired me really. Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
yeah. Oh,
And if you work on it together, come next week and you can check one another out. Have you been saying, I have confidence in myself and my abilities? And see how each of you responds. And next 2 weeks, say it again. And then see whether you have changed at all, or anything has happened that makes you feel better.
okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
I think it is time for me to say goodnight. And so I give you all my blessings. Good night.
Oh,
Hi,
Danielle,
I'm back again. I'm sorry, you were saying something?
I went to Danielle maybe in the, now where can I find it? In the chat box, maybe you could put your telephone number?
Sure.
Would you? Thank you. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Oh, okay, good. That is good that you talk together, that you might talk together. Okay, I hope you all have enjoyed this evening and that has been helpful to you. Remember, I love you all. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Okay, I'm back.